So when you're planning a big international move, you think about everything, right? You pack the clothes, you get the visas, you sort out the medicine. But what about your child's education? That's where things can get, well, really complicated. It's the one thing that can turn a smooth move into a major roadblock. Let's get into how to navigate these challenges.
It's a pretty scary question, isn't it? But it's one every single parent making this move has to ask. Because honestly, a single missing document or just a simple misunderstanding of a grading system, that can create a huge hurdle for your kid's academic future. It's a risk, for sure, but with a little bit of prep, it's one you absolutely don't have to take.
And this isn't just some what-if scenario. This is a real story. Let's talk about Sonal. Her daughter had just finished Class 5 in India. They moved to Australia, submitted all the paperwork, everything seemed fine. But the new school just couldn't make sense of the Indian grading system. So what did they do? They played it safe and put her in a lower grade. And that decision didn't just cost the family a year. It cost her daughter her confidence. That's the real price.
The thing is, Sonal's story is not a one-off. Not at all. This happens way too often. The problem isn't usually a lack of paperwork. It's that schools in different countries, well, they just don't speak the same academic language. But here's the good news. You can become the translator.
So here's what you really need to get. This probably isn't a mistake you made. It's a system issue. Schools around the world all have their own ways of measuring how kids are doing. They use different formats, different words, different grading systems. It's honestly like trying to play a game where everyone has a completely different rule book.
Okay, just look at this. This really shows you what we're up against. A school in Europe might be using a 1 to 10 scale. A school in the US is probably using A, B, C. They aren't trained to figure out what an A2 from India's CBSE system even means. So without a clear explanation from you, what are they going to do? They're going to play it safe. And playing it safe almost never works out in your child's favor.
So what's the secret? What are these global schools actually looking for? To figure that out, let's just compare two common curriculums, India's CBSE and the International Baccalaureate, or IB. Now, this isn't about which one is better, it's about understanding what kind of paperwork travels well across borders, and more importantly, why.
Right, so if you look at this table, the key difference just pops right out. The IB system, it requires portfolios. It's all about skills like critical thinking and inquiry, things that are understood everywhere. The CBSE system, and a lot of other national curriculums, they focus on covering the syllabus. So a student from a CBSE school might look weaker on paper, not because they have fewer skills, but just because they carry less evidence of those skills.
All right, so how do we fix this? How do you bridge that gap no matter what curriculum your kid is in? The answer is to get proactive and put together what we're calling a transfer kit. This is what's going to give the new school a complete and honestly a compelling picture of your child's entire academic journey.
I want you to think of it this way. You're creating your child's academic passport. It's not just a stack of documents. It is a full profile of your child's academic identity, and it's what's going to let them cross any educational border with total confidence.
Okay, here they are, the 6 must-have documents for that passport. And notice, it's way more than just report cards. Look at number 2, the curriculum mapping sheet. This is an absolute game changer. It's just a simple summary of the topics and skills your child was taught. It explains how they learned, not just what they learned. And then there's the digital portfolio. That is the tangible proof of what your kid can actually do.
So before you pack those last boxes, let's run through a quick checklist. Just 6 simple questions. If you can confidently say yes to every single one of these, you're in great shape, and your child is set up for a really smooth transition.
Number 1, do you have 3 years of report cards? A single year is just a snapshot, but 3 years? That shows a clear pattern, an academic trajectory. It proves consistent performance.
Second, have you put together that curriculum map we talked about? This is your translation tool. This is what helps the new school understand the context behind the grades and really see the depth of their previous education.
Question 3. Do you have a digital portfolio ready to go? This is your chance to show the new school what your child is capable of, not just tell them. A simple digital folder with photos of projects, some key assignments, a few certificates. Believe me, this can be your most powerful tool.
Number 4, and this one sounds small, but it's huge. Do you have proof of English medium instruction? Seriously, a formal letter from their old school can be the one thing that stops them from being put in a lower-level language class they don't need. 5. Are your certificates attested? Basically, are they official? You want to make sure your key documents have that official school stamp and the principal's signature. It just removes any doubt about them being real and shows you're on top of things.
And last but not least, number 6, have you actually looked into the new school-specific criteria? Don't wait for them to ask you for things. Do your homework ahead of time so you can build your academic passport to meet their exact needs.
So let's end on this, because it's the most important takeaway. This whole process, it is not about bureaucracy. It's not about paperwork, it's about protection. It's about protecting your child's grade level, protecting their confidence, and protecting the flow of their learning. It's about making sure their journey across the world is an adventure, not a setback. And with the right preparation, you can absolutely make sure of that.